Hello everyone, I'm back again with another guide, and today I'm going over Janus, probably my favorite mage in the game. Now Janus is my go-to for when I have to play mid, and he's a ton of fun. He has a lot of utility, has a lot of damage, and he's just a good time all around. So, first off, we're going to take a look at the build. This is the build I personally like to use most of the time. There's certain situations where I might switch out some of these items. But starting off with, we're going to start with the basic mage. Gonna get my Vampiric Shroud for your sustain. I like to go Lost Artifact instead of Tiny Trinket because you're going to lose a little bit of power for not getting Tiny Trinket because you get 5 extra power for Tiny Trinket. But Lost Artifact is going to give you the mana regeneration instead of Lifesteal, which Lifesteal doesn't do anything for you. So anyone of those two is fine. I personally like Lost Artifact. Also, I like Lost Artifact better because of what I've been building early on Janus. Then, of course, I usually like to go 1 health potion, 1 mana potion. You could also just go 2 health potions if you want. I would not go 2 mana potions because the enemy is smart and they see you without a health potion. All they have to do is just get you low health and then you have to go back to base or they're just going to kill you. It's always important to at least have 1 health potion. The only time that it's okay to not have one is if you have healing, but even then it's still kind of iffy. So, as far as Janus' builds go, you can either go 2 ways. You can either go heavy damage or you can go heavy utility. Now, personally to me, I like the utility on because I just find from his abilities you're just going to get a lot of extra damage. So, I don't think that going straight up damage for Janus is as good as utility, but it's still good because you just gave him more damage with his abilities that just give him even more power. He's gonna be hitting really hard, but to me personally, he does just enough damage with his utility build because Janus just does a lot of damage no matter what. So, first off, since we're going utility, we're gonna get max cooldown as quickly as we can. So first, we're gonna start with the cooldown reduction boots. And then we're going to get Cronus Pendant, which is another reason why I like to get Lost Artifact first. By the time you get these 2 up, you'll have max cooldown. You'll be throwing out those portals and unstable vortexes and everything you got very quickly. Janus doesn't have very long cooldowns as it is. His cooldowns are pretty short, and his abilities are kind of what makes Janus very, very powerful. So that's kind of the main reason why I like to go max cooldown first on Janus. It's very good. Of course, you don't have to, which I'll go over that in a minute. Then we're going to get Obsidian Shard. This is going to be his best bet for penetration. You could maybe make Spear of the Magus work, but you'd have to try really, really hard to get Spear of the Magus to work for you on Janus. And it just would not be worth it at that point. You'll get it'll be a lot more reliable just to get Obsidian Shard. Then I like to get Bancrest Talon. Like I said earlier, life still does not matter. What does matter is that 100 extra power and the extra power you get for a percentage of your health missing. It's going to give you a lot of power. And then we're just going to get Book of Thoth, which is going to give you power based on the amount of mana you have. You're just going to have a whole lot of damage. Now, like I said before with Book of Thoth, this is a stacking item that you can build later in the game. You can even build this last if you want to. Just because the stacks on Book of Thoth don't really matter that much. I think just from the stacks alone, it's like 30 extra power. That's not that big of a deal. You're going to get a whole lot of power just from the base mana that you already have on Janus. And then, of course, like any good mage wants, Rod Hootie will be your last item. It's going to give you an even bigger increase in power. And you're just going to be taking out squishies with your combo for like 75% of their health. It's crazy. It's really good. Now, some other choices. If you do want to go for a more damage route, I would suggest building Doom Orb at the very beginning. Another reason why I like to get Lost Artifact also is because Lost Artifact also builds into Doom Orb. And if you start with Lost Artifact, Doom Orb is very, very cheap to get. Also, kind of the downside with Doom Orb is that if you die, you lose half the stacks on it. But Janus is a very safe god with his portals and everything. So I think he's one of the better mages to have Doom Orb on. I'm going to skip over these two items real quick and talk about Soul Reaver. For anyone that's watched my other video on mages, know that I'm not a very big fan of Soul Reaver. But if I had to pick one god for to use Soul Reaver on, I'd probably pick Janus. He's very, very bursty as it is, just with his abilities and how they interact with each other. So just the extra % of their health that they're gonna lose on your abilities, that's just gonna deal even. It's just crazy how much extra damage that'll be for you. Generally, this is still an item that you should only get for against tanky teams. So they have like a couple bruisers or a couple guardians and stuff like that. So is a pretty good choice. This item does not work that greatly against squishy opponents. But anyone that has a pretty good bit of health, this item's going to do a whole lot. Plus with just Janus being Janus, it's going to increase it by even more. Then, if you feel like you need some extra survivability, you'd either do Warlock Sash or Ethereal Staff. I don't really think either one of these are that necessary, to be honest, since he's very mobile and has those portals to escape with. But, you know, it never really hurts to have extra health. And he does get plenty of power from his abilities. Now, Warlock Sash used to be maybe my favorite item in the game, at least for mages. But I'm not the biggest fan of Warlock Sash now, just because of how long it takes to get the stacks. I actually much prefer Ethereal Staff. But in the end, both of these are very good. I'd probably suggest Ethereal Staff a little bit more than Warlock Sash. But if you feel like you can take the time to stack everything up, go ahead. The downside is Janus is one of the best. As far as mid laners go, he's probably the best at roaming, just because of how quickly you can get around the map. So if you want to take full use of Janus, you need to be ganking a decent bit, and that means you will not be in lane to stack up Warlock Sash, because this is an item you have to get really early. Just my opinion though, of course. And then, as far as actives go, gotta get Purification Beads. That's a must on all mages. If the enemy team has a couple really bursty gods, you can get Aegis. That's gonna stop all that burst damage. Combat Blink's also very, very good item for mages, because it's basically just get out of jail free card. I mean, if they're jumping on you hard, just blink away, and you're safe. Because you're not always gonna have a time where you're gonna be close to a wall to be able to just portal through it. And then these are really gonna be your two best choices, along with Purification Beads, because you definitely want Purification Beads in the one of these two. But this could be some times when your team might need you to pick up something else. So of course, the obvious one would be like Heavenly Agility. Maybe even Weakening Curse if you need to stop their healing. That's really gonna be about it. As far as any of the other choices go, you really just want to get Purification Beads in one of these two. So now that we looked at the build, let's look at the abilities. We're going to start with this passive, which is Passages. And whenever he goes through one of his portals or over his threshold, he gets 25% magical scaling on his next ability. Just to let y'all know, that's a lot of extra damage. And that's about all I have to say about that passive. So moving on to Portal. A Portal is probably the ability that Janus... This is just the ability that makes Janus awesome, and that's Portal. You can save yourself, you can save your teammates, you can basically set this up to kill your enemies with it. It just does so much. So, basically, there's two ways you use Janus' Portal. You can either put it on the ground, or you can put it on the wall. You put it on the ground, you or enemies can fall through it. If you fall through it, nothing bad will happen to you. You'll just kind of fall through it and go through the animation. It's pretty good if you're just trying to buy time and you're not close enough to a wall. So you can just put the portal down, you can fall through it, and hopefully wait till one of your abilities come off cooldown, or have your teammates be able to get over there to help you out. Also, another interesting way to use this is if someone is using a really high damaging ability on you, and if you can time that just right. So like if you can time it just right when Poseidon's gonna crack in you, you can portal and just completely ignore the damage. Another thing that you place on the ground, if an enemy walks through it, they will also fall through the portal, also taking damage too. And this is going to be your main source for your combo. This is going to be what sets up your combo, and I'll go over that in a second when I get to it. And now this only affects one enemy. Well, it only affects, let me put it this way. If an enemy walks into it, then the portal is going to be used up, and an enemy that walks into it a little bit after, it won't. But if two enemies kind of walk into it roughly around the same time, I mean, it will give it like maybe a second or so after. They will both fall through it. So you know, it's not a long period of time where you can have multiple enemies fall through it, but there's a short window where they can. So this can affect multiple enemies. And another really big thing about portal is you can place it on walls. When you place it on walls, you or your teammates can use the portal to go to the other side. And this is the biggest reason why I think Janus is one of the best mages for using Doom Orb with. Because he's very safe. I mean, if he puts a portal down, he just goes to the side of the wall. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do. Because he can make up some serious ground on you, or he can just leave you far behind if he wants to. He's very maneuverable. He gets around very quickly, and this is kind of the reason why. This is why he's also very good at ganking from mid lane. And another use for portal, you can also save your teammates. So if your teammates are fighting, they're about to die, and you just put the portal up, and they can just walk through the portal, they can escape, they'll be all safe. This is an ability that you kind of really have to communicate with your team with to let them know what you're going to do with it, because you only get one use of the portal when you put one down. There's only one use, and then it's used up. So make sure you let your teammates know that, hey, I'm placing this portal down for you, or I'm placing this portal down for me to go through. And there's going to be a few times where something crazy might happen with the portal. So like if you get like knocked up or something, and you might get sucked through the portal, and that kind of sucks, but that just kind of happens sometimes. Then we got Unstable Vortex. This is gonna be your main form of clear and your main form of damage. This ability freaking hurts a lot. If you get time it just right, where both of the things hit at the same time. I'm not sure what they're called. The little ball thingies. If you're gonna have them both hit at the same time, you're gonna be doing extra damage, and well, this ability just hurts like crazy. Now, this ability could be a little bit hard to hit, which is kind of why you need to use portal to set it up. But if you can time it just right, I mean, this ability just does so much damage. And once you get kind of used to the way this ability moves, you'll be able to hit enemy gods pretty easily with it. Also, something else, since this is your main form of clear, what I like to do when I'm playing mid or whatever with Janus to clear up minions, I usually just try to aim the one side to hit the minions instead of trying to have it when it comes back in the middle and hits to hit the minions. It's just far easier to just try to hit the one side of it when it goes out and come back in and go back out to hit. If that makes any sense. It's kind of hard to explain. It would be easier to show, but yeah. Ability that's going to be a little tricky to use at first, but very powerful ability once you get the hang of it. And then we have Threshold. And this is going to be the other form of your combo, along with Portal. So Threshold has a few different uses. If you or your teammates walk over it, you get a speed boost. You get extra movement speed if the enemy walks through it. They get slowed. And also if the enemy walks through it, they can take additional damage from your abilities. So, kind of the main thing you want to do. You want to put down your portal. This is at least when you're going for damage and trying to kill the enemy. You want to put down the portal underneath them. Have them walk through it. They're going to fall through it. And what you want to do when they're falling through it, just put the threshold down where they're going to land. Because as soon as they take a step, that threshold is going to put the debuff on them, where they're going to take the extra damage from your unstable vortex, and you're just going to chunk a good percentage of the health. And they're going to have to go back to base, because if not, they're just going to die. because you have max cooldown and you're just going to do it to them again in a couple seconds. This is what makes Janus very powerful with this combo. And it gets a lot. I mean, if you just look at the additional scaling they're going to take when you get it maxed out, 60 extra, that's a lot. That's a whole lot. And plus, they're just going to be slowed. So even if they don't die from the combo, they're going to be slowed. They're not going to be sure what to do. And then if you have teammates around, they're just going to jump on them and kill them. This is why I think it's so powerful to have max cooldown on Janus, just to get this off as much as you can, because you see that he has other abilities like Threshold and his passive just to give him the extra damage. And then we have Through Space and Time, the ultimate that can be such a troll sometimes, and it's a ton of fun. This ability can be used to great effect, or it can be used to do absolutely nothing with. This ability, you have to make sure you're using this ultimate for a good reason. Because there was this one pro game last season. I think it was Dignitas and Cog Prime. I think that's what it was. And this game, it kind of ended up being kind of a stalemate. But Dignitas had a Janus in their team. And Cog Prime didn't really know exactly what the Janus was, or the enemy team was. So yeah, everyone on Dignitas got grouped up close to Cog's base, and they just straight up ultied into Cog's base and killed the Titan without Cog having enough time to realize what was going on. This is how powerful this ability is. Basically, what this ability does is just an even more powerful version of Portal. It just places, you're just going to shoot out this beam, it's going to create portals for whatever surface it goes through, and you and your teammates can go through the portal. It's not just a one use. You can keep going through all the portals. Now when you go through a portal, you can't go back the other way through the portal, so that's just one thing, remember? But this is an ability that can help you and your team get across the map very quickly, and this is also the biggest reason why Janus is probably the best ganker for mid lane, because he can get anywhere on the map whenever he needs to, just with this ultimate. Also, this ultimate does do a pretty good bit of damage too. This ultimate does more damage based on how far the enemy is away from you, and if you hit someone from far away, this ability does a lot of damage. Although, granted, this is not the main reason. This is not the main way you should be using his ultimate. You should not really be focused on using it for damage, but can do damage, and it's always fun when you snipe someone from across the map with this and kill them. It feels so good. It does not happen very often, but it's possible. I've done it once. It was great. And that's gonna about do it for Janus. Janus is a very powerful mid laner. That's really all I can say. He just does a little bit of everything. He's fast, he's mobile, he has great utility for the team, and he just has a lot of damage. Janus is very powerful. The only kind of downside with Janus is that it's going to take a little bit to get used to his abilities, trying to get the combo down and getting used to the way unstable Vortex moves. But once you get all that down, you're going to be in for a good time with Janus. And I'm going to wrap it up there. Also, a quick thing. I want to thank anyone that's still watching at this point. And I would also like to say that I will be moving to a new house this weekend. So, if you don't see a whole lot of videos from me this weekend, that's probably why, because I'm going to be really, really busy. I've been really busy with work lately, and I'm going to be busy with this. But I'm going to try to get the videos out as quickly as I can. I'm going to try to record some more tomorrow if I get a chance. I have to work tomorrow. But if not, I'll at least get some more stuff recorded for Thursday so I can try to get it all out. And hopefully have at least a decent bit of stuff. I'll probably make an actual update video at some point too, just letting everyone know what's going on. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. It means a lot. And just let me know if there's any other guys you would like to see me do. I'm going to try to do a video for the patch notes, since the patch is coming out. I think it comes out tomorrow. I think it comes out on Wednesday. So that should be interesting. A lot of changes coming in that patch. A lot of good ones too. So, I hope you all have a good night. I'll talk to you guys later, and have fun.